All right, guys, this is the motor out of the 1979 MG Midget. I believe it's considered a 1.5 liter. I'm not 100% sure of that. It's a 1500 cc motor. What all have I done to this thing so far? Let's see. It's got a new starter, new fuel pump, and the starter, I don't have it bolted up permanently here. I've just got this on here makeshift. I'm waiting on a spacer. UMG guys might be able to put in the comments down here, if I take that nut off between there, then the starter hits the flywheel. So I had to put that nut on there to space it out. I don't know if this is the wrong starter, but the other starter I have, the old one, is exact same way. So new fuel pump. The oil filter they sent me was the wrong kind, so I ended up putting the old oil filter back on. I've got the whole front end put back on here. Even though there's a little surface rust here on this is a brand new water pump. Don't think there's much to see on the other side. It's got new plugs, the new rings, new head gasket, new valve cover gasket. And I've got the thing ready for a new thermostat, which is right here. But I don't have any RTV. I've got a gasket, but I want to put some RTV around it because that's a little bit rough right there. New exhaust manifold and intake gasket. New hardware holding it on because the old one's got all bent up and rusty. I think this thing will run. I'm pretty sure it's going to run all right. It's also got a new valve, or a new oil pan gasket. I didn't take any of the front end, like the main crank pulley, off. I didn't take it or the timing chain cover off. The engine only has 30 some thousand miles on it. So I'm just going to hope for the best and see what happens. There's my oil pressure sensor. I did put my meter on it, and I'm reading about 600-700 ohms with it not turning over. And once I hook the jump box directly to the starter, I get it goes open, so that tells me I got oil pressure. And another way I know I'm getting oil pressure is apparently I've got a couple small, very small leaks. I'm not really sure. I think one of them might be on the front of the, you see a little spot there and a little spot right there. I'm pretty sure that the one on the front is the timing chain cover. And the one on the back, I'm not 100% sure. It's kind of located where the rear main seal would be. So maybe that's what that is. But, yeah, that's where we're at right now. So yeah, if any UMG guys out there know what might be going on there with the starter, this was a direct replacement from AutoZone or Advance or somewhere. I don't remember where I even got it, but the spacing from right here on the front of this to right here is exactly the same. So no matter what I do, when I put it on there, without that nut right there in the middle, it hits the flywheel and it won't work. So give you guys a so it turns over good. Just need to get some fuel hooked up to the thing, and get some spark to it, which fuel isn't a big deal. I could plumb in my boat tank to that in no time. But it's got electronic ignition, and I don't really have a way easily to get it off of the car and bring it in here and hook it up, or I would, and just start it here on the stand for a minute to hear it run. So it looks like I'm going to be putting the transmission back on this thing very, very soon, and getting out and putting it in the car, and hopefully it'll fire up. I did put the jump box on the car a while ago, and my son was out there with me, and we were able to verify things like, when you turn the key switch on, the wipers work and the turn signals work and all that good stuff, but we didn't really go in depth. The horn doesn't seem to work, but it may be unhooked. I got one wiring harness that's unhooked out there. I've got to do some research on that and try to figure out why, or not why, but what goes to what. I do have another question for you MG guys, if you're watching this. This is the old water pump. It's completely seized up. However, the fan clutch is not, and I do not see a physical way of getting that off to go onto the new one. So I'm not real sure what to do. If I can't figure out how to get it off, I may end up just putting an electric fan on the back of the radiator, which would reduce some of the drag on the motor anyway. So, that was interesting. I just saw a drip. Where did that come from? Coming from up here. Now, that's the coming out of the reservoir for the antifreeze. Must have shifted. So that's where we're at right now. I know it don't look like much, but the main parts have been rebuilt and ready to go. So hopefully I'll get this thing started for you guys sometime soon. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and share, subscribe. Yeah, that word, subscribe. And I'll give you some more updates soon. All right, guys. So we've got the transmission moved here, or the gearbox. It's very small. And that's it right there. I did get the shifter out of the car. Went in and stuck it in here just to see, make sure everything was freed up. And everything looks good. The throwout bearing appears to be in pretty good shape. It's nice, and there's no play or slop or anything in it. The actuator for it is actually hydraulic on this thing, and it's got a solenoid here. So I'm able to actually grab a hold of it here and pull in and out on it. But so it does work. It is free, but I'm probably gonna have to replace that thing. It's pretty crusty in there. But I may end up replacing this too. The clutch is not in too bad a shape. I may throw it on there and see what happens. I don't really know. And then that's not that great a shape, but it's not bad. I'm trying to keep from you spending very much money on this thing. I'm just trying to get it put back together and running. But yeah, if I stick this thing on here so I can get some leverage on it. We'll stick it in first gear here. You can see when I twist it's first gear. But I went through all the gears. All the gears work. Reverse works. all that good stuff. But it's a little dirty, but what do you expect? The car has not been on the road since 1990 was the dead inspection sticker on it. So we're looking at what, 30, almost 33 years. So yeah, it's been a while since it was last on the road. So my next objective is to get the motor mounted up to it and get it all put back together, get me an engine hoist, and get this thing put back in the car and see if we can't get her to fire up. But there's the transmission or gearbox.